Hello, welcome to my channel. It is Jo, J-M-O-T-G. I'm back with another video. If you are new, thank you very much for stopping by. I do all sorts of videos. Some are advice-based, some are just me fooling around, others are vlogs. You know, it's a mixed bag, you never know what you're gonna get, but promise it will be entertaining, if not useful. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to negotiate your salary. Yes, we are in a new year. It might be the same old you in the same old job. It's time to get that pay rise. Or it could be you going into a new job. 2020 was what it was. We're leaving it in the past. Goodbye. Pressing forward, moving ahead. Yes, you've bagged that new job. Now it's time to negotiate that salary and get the coins that you deserve for your hard work. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing tips that I've used to negotiate salaries and that have worked. Trust me, this is based on real life examples, real life experience, and obviously some research as well. But for the most part, it's stuff that I've done, that I've researched and done and has worked for me. So get yourself together, get your notepad, get your pen, get your paper, get yourself comfortable, and let's get into it. Point number one is that it starts with you, which sounds very naughty, but it's mind over matter. If you don't believe that you deserve a pay rise, if you don't even believe in what you're pushing for, why should anybody give you that bump? If you're on 30k and you want to get 35, do you believe you deserve that 35? Because if you don't, then trust me, what it's going to look like is,
oh, please can I have a bit of money? Please, could I possibly maybe, perhaps, somehow have a bit more money, please?
And then they say how much, you're like, 35. No, no one's going to give you that. I worked in sales, in a lot of my jobs actually growing up. I had a sales aspect, and what they always taught us was you just have to say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Yeah, this bag costs £2,000. Boop. And you do the P Diddy, look me, I look you, stare in the eyes. You gonna pay it or you gonna walk? That's basically what it is. You have to be very confident, very robust in what you want. If you don't believe that you deserve that pay rise, trust me, it's going to come across in the way that you deliver, in the way that you approach. And, you know, if they take pity on you, sure, maybe they might throw you a crumb. But really, you need to come at it with all form of confidence that, yes, I want this pay rise because I deserve it, and I deserve it for the following reasons, which we're going to get into. Okay, so now you have it in your head that I want X amount because I deserve it and I can prove it. Yes, you might want £1 million, but honey, if you haven't done your research, that £1 million is just going to be inside your pockets, quite frankly. What you need to do is you need to research. You need to research the market. What does the market pay for your role or for the role that you're going into? What do the competitors pay? What is average? What is low? What is high? I know that we always want obviously the high salary. Everybody wants to earn the top end. They want to have the exceptional salary. But in that, you also have to understand if company ABC is paying 40k for the role that you're going in at 34, you need to ask why. Why is company ABC paying 10 grand above average? A lot of the times it could be down to things like the culture of the company. They might just have it in the bank like that, and they want to attract top talent. They want to attract top talent. Another point could just be also tied into culture is the work ethic. I know that there are some banks out there that I have heard of where they pay really well, but you do work for that money. In fact, you won't even have time to spend it because you're basically living at work 24/7. So yeah, you've got a big fat salary, but what time do you actually have to spend it, to enjoy it, to, yeah, basically to do anything with it, because you're just at work all day long. So these are some of the reasons that you need to kind of look into the market, find out what's average, find out what's low. An average salary is not bad. It also ties in with other things, which I'm going to speak about in the following points, but the base salary is just one aspect of a remuneration package. So that's one of the things you need to look into. Another thing in terms of salary is the location. What they pay a job in London won't be the same necessarily that they'll pay you in Yorkshire. Won't be the same thing that they'll pay you in Wales, for instance. London, obviously being the capital city of the UK, is a massive city, so many different industries, so many different competitors. So employers are willing to pay a bit more. And also just generally, the cost of living in London is ridiculous. So they have to give you something that compensates. If you live in a smaller town where the cost of living is a lot lower, labor is a bit cheaper, you might find that your salary will be a bit different. So for example, I took a contract job in Newcastle 2 years ago, and the day rate was slightly lower than what was going in London, but at that point I'd been unemployed for nearly a year, so I grabbed it with both hands. I did try and negotiate, but when I looked at actually what the average was for that city, and considering that my cost of living was going to be way lower than when I was in London, I was like, okay, fine, this is the trade-off that I'm willing to make. So those are some of the things that you need to research and look at before you start fighting for those zeros. Another thing to consider is the whole, or in this case, the big picture. You have to consider things like, is this a contract role versus is this a permanent role? In a contract role, you stand to give a lot more than you get, so to speak, in the sense that when you're a contractor, they're hiring you for your expertise in a particular area. So you're doing more of the giving than they are to you. Obviously, you're getting a salary or you're getting a day rate in return, but you don't stand to gain very much by way of non-monetary values. And what I mean by non-monetary values are things like, will they support you in a course, for example? Will they pay for you to sit a particular exam? Are there opportunities for you to move into different departments, to be mentored? Is there a structure in place where there's a buddy system for you to learn and interact with senior members of staff? So those are some of the non-monetary values that you should also consider. Obviously, the entire benefits package, annual leave, maternity leave, sick pay, death in service, private health care, pension, all these things are important to consider, obviously, when you're going into a role in general. But when you're negotiating your salary, for some places, you might have a slightly lower than average base salary, but you have a wicked package. You've got amazing other benefits that kind of make the average salary not seem so average at the end of the day. So while yes, at the end of the day, bills have to be paid and you need money to do that, if your employer will keep paying you while you're sick or has a decent contribution into your pension, which you're going to live off once you hit 60 or in this case maybe 75, you're kind of sowing now to reap later. The next point I'm going to talk about is a bit more practical about the how you negotiate. So the first thing to do is obviously to have a minimum that you're willing to accept and that you can live comfortably on. So using the same example, let's say that minimum is £30,000. Great. £30,000 is the minimum that you will accept. However, you never go in at 30. Okay? You never go in at the amount that you actually want. In the same way, jobs are pretty much never advertised at what they can actually afford. A lot of the times they can afford more, if not a lot more. So if you are going in for a role, it's advertised at £30,000, chances are there's a bit of wiggle room. They could probably bump it up to 32, 33, maybe even 35. So anyway, back to the negotiating. You need to be able to go in, head held up high, and negotiate and say, I want 35,000, bearing in mind that actually what you want is 30. But you know, if you settled with 32 or 33 or 31, you still ended up with a bit more than you were comfortable with at the 30 marker, if that makes sense. It's kind of like when you go to your parents. If you need money to go out, you never actually say how much you need. You ask for a bit more because inevitably your mom's going to say, what do you need £50 for? My friend, take 45. Meanwhile, what you really wanted was 40. So, hey, you're winning with £5 extra. That's exactly how you have to approach it with employers. Now, it's all well and good going and saying, I want this and I want that, but you actually have to have good reasons. And so you need to be able to build a solid case for why they should give you more than what you currently have or negotiate a higher salary. One of the things that you need to be able to say very, very confidently is what value you add. What do you bring to the table that either is completely unique or hard to find or niche? What is your USP? What do you do that nobody else in the company does? Or what do you do that they will find it hard to replace? You know, I know it sounds really like, oh, well, okay, I'm just a receptionist. Anyone can pick up a phone. Right, okay. But how long have you been a receptionist? So your experience, what companies have you worked for? Have you worked with their competitors? And I can tell you one thing, my highest paying contract role, the one that I said in my past video that I was on 5 figures a month, in that role, I was able to negotiate an additional £100 on my day rate because I had worked for one of their competitors. Now, that doesn't mean I came in and I told them all the secrets, but they knew that, okay, this is somebody who's worked on exactly the same project that we're trying to do with a competitor who has done it successfully. Boom, jackpot, right? This person's going to be able to do it for us and we're willing to pay top dollar. So those are the kind of unique situations that you might be able to leverage to add on a couple more zeros onto your check. Well, actually, that's a bit of a stretch, not a couple more zeros, but a few thousand more a year onto your annual paycheck. If you're in the consulting business, it could be your connections. If you have connections and you are coming on board as maybe as a senior partner or as a senior exec or just somebody who has good connections, you don't even need to be senior. It could be what you bring to the table by way of clientele, by way of networking. So it's really good. What I've learned anyway since I've been consulting is that it's one big web. Who you know is really important, almost as important as what you know, because who you know will always kind of get you a foot in the door and then you kind of make your way on from there. Also, on specialist skills, you could be fantastic as a data analyst or business analyst or someone who's, you know, really, really good at Excel or coding. These are some of the skills that are very, very desired in the workplace, even if you're not really technical like that. So, for example, I work in consulting and I know a lot about financial services and regulations. If you know about different regulations or if you've got great language skills, they are all very, very vital, and you can use that to leverage and say, well, I'm the only one in this team that speaks German. I've done this and I haven't done that, and this is how it helps your bottom line. Because at the end of the day, the company always cares about the bottom line, which is, if I'm going to pay you more, am I going to actually make any more money? You know, there's no point paying out salaries if you've got no income. Final thing to do is to make sure you get whatever you've negotiated in writing. Anytime you negotiate, make sure that your contract is updated. Trust me, I have had a very similar experience where I went in, we negotiated a particular role, scroll, and it's very easy for you to just do that auto sign thing on Adobe. Don't. Read your contract very well, read your terms and conditions, read your annual leave, read all the details that just look like it's boring, because it's essential, and that's basically all you have to rely on when ish hits the fan, or if ish hits the fan. So if you negotiate more annual leave, or if you negotiate a higher contribution to your pension, or whatever you finally settle on, make sure that it's in writing. If you're going in at a particular salary and you and your boss have negotiated and decided that in 6 months' time, these are the goals and these are the things that I said I'm going to accomplish, and then you're going to give me a pay rise to X amount, let it be in writing. Because 6 months is going to come and your boss is going to be like,
is that what we really said? Oh no, I thought it was in 12 months. Oh, I thought it was 18 months. Oh no, I didn't actually say I'd give you that pay rise. I said we would reconsider.
No, write it down, right. Don't sign on the dotted line until you talk to Temple. That's an old ad. But seriously, make sure that it's documented and it's written. Keep a paper trail, keep an audit trail of whatever you discuss. A lot of the times negotiations don't happen via email. They're probably best face to face because people, bosses or recruiters or whoever they are, don't particularly want to have a paper trail. But whatever you do decide and agree on needs to be kept in writing. So I hope these have been useful tips for you. I hope that in 2021 we're able to get our money up, get our health up, get our lifestyles up, and make that coin. If you found this video useful, please do give me a thumbs up and comment down below some of the tips that I might have missed out that have worked for you in the past. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, do let me know as well. Follow me on social media. I am at JMOTG. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you very much for watching this video. Catch you next time. Bye.